Hello and welcome back to the Queen Rising podcast. My name is Missy and I'm your host. And today we are talking about the upcoming Libra New Moon that is happening on October 21st. And I am in Eastern time. It is happening at 8:25 a.m. my time, so you can adjust that according to your time zone. Now, a couple weeks ago, I did an episode on Libra season. So you can go back to that if you want to get an overview of Libra season. But today we are specifically talking about the new moon. And if you're familiar with how I teach how to manifest with the moon, the new moon is about planting seeds. So if there's things you want to manifest, this is a really potent time to do it. Now we are coming out of eclipse season. So I want you to pay attention to what happened over the past 4 to 6 weeks. What are the things that are being shaken out of your life? Eclipses are portals of transformation. And the past Virgo season, the new moon that we recently had in Virgo was sitting with the South Node. So it's very much about endings. And we have to end things before we can start something new. So I'm going to show you the chart. Let me share my screen. So here is the chart for the Libra new moon. Leave me a comment below if you love seeing the chart. Also, leave me a comment below if you are a Libra or you have any Libra placements. So we are coming at the end of Libra season. Libra season ends usually around the 21st, 22nd of October. So we've been in Libra season, and this new moon is at the very end of Libra. In every sign, there are 30 degrees in each sign. It goes from 0 to 29. And this new moon is happening at 28 degrees of Libra. So a new moon happens when the sun and the moon are together in the same sign at the same degree. And the new moon, usually you cannot see it. So it's very much about feeling. So Libra season in general is about harmony. It's about balancing. Libra is represented by the scales, and it's very much a balancing act of between self and others. Aries, which is the opposite of Libra, and I did an episode on the recent full moon we had in Aries, but Aries is very much about the self versus Libra is about others. Libra loves fairness, justice. It is ruled by Venus, which is about love and relationships. Venus also rules over money and values. So it is a really good time to tap into what do I value, or where am I out of alignment? Where am I not feeling balanced? Where am I over giving? Because some of the shadow sides of Libra is they can be people pleasers. They can sacrifice their own needs for the benefit of others just to keep the peace. We talked a little bit about that in the Aries full moon. So some themes that may pop up during this next lunar cycle is fairness in relationships, having that balance of give and take. Also, honesty and diplomat, having things be fair, understanding your own boundaries around people pleasing. The last decan of Libra, of where this is happening, is very much about rebalancing yourself after a fall. So depending on what happened after Virgo season and after the last eclipse, depending on what had to shake out of your life, this new lunar cycle is about you finding your balance after whatever may have happened. So how can you rebalance yourself? So let's look at this chart. You can see the new moon and the sun are happening at 28 degrees. Now, this is a very good lunar cycle. I like this one because the ruler of this moon, the ruler of Libra, is Venus. And Venus is very much about love and relationships. And it recently moved into Libra last week. So it is very well placed. Venus is in its home sign of Libra. And so it's very much at home here. It's very much in its power and in control of what's happening with this new moon. Libra is very balanced. Fairness is high values for Libra. Libras are all about compromise. Now, sitting opposite of the new moon is Chiron. So Chiron is the wounded healer, and it's been in Aries for quite a while. So there may be some relationship traumas that maybe come to the surface that are being brought up for you to heal. So Chiron, the story of Chiron is he was a wounded healer. He had a wound in his leg that he couldn't heal, but from that wound, he was able to develop spiritual gifts that he was able to help heal other people with. So, relationship traumas and wounds may come up to the surface. However, I like it because Jupiter is also involved. So it's creating a square to Jupiter. Jupiter is in Cancer, and Jupiter is also well placed here. It's in Cancer. It likes to be in Cancer. It's exalted here. So I feel like this new moon and this new cycle may bring up relationship themes and things to heal, but then Jupiter comes in with this healing ointment, like the medicine. It's going to make everything better. And if you're able to move past it and you're able to heal this wound, then it could bring you abundance and prosperity. Healing, because Jupiter in Cancer is very healing. Now, some other things that are going on in this chart, we have a heavy Scorpio emphasis. So we have Mars is currently conjunct Mercury in Scorpio, and Black Moon Lilith is also there. I haven't heard anyone else talk about this, but so Scorpio energy, we're going to talk more about Scorpio energy next week for Scorpio season when the sun moves into Scorpio. But I want to give you a little preview. Scorpio is a water sign. It's intuitive. It's very psychic. Scorpio feels things very deeply. Mars is there and it's well sourced in Scorpio. It is the original ruler of Scorpio. And Mars is how we take action. It's our drive, it's our ambition. But we talked about with the Aries full moon is Mars and Scorpio is like behind the scenes. It's moving in silence. It's not showing everyone your cards. However, now that Mercury is also in Scorpio and it's conjunct, they're at the same 20-degree in Scorpio. Mercury is a planet of communication. So now may be the time where now you want to voice it. Now you want to voice the plans that you are moving forward with. If you have anything to get off your chest, this new moon could be a really good time to talk about the things that you've been going through, talk about the things you're moving through, talk about your intentions. And Black Moon Lilith is here. Black Moon Lilith is the dark goddess. She represents the dark feminine. We think about feminine energy as light and nurturing and creative, and that is the light side of the feminine. The dark side of feminine is what most people are not talking about. And in order to understand your light, you have to go through some darkness. The dark feminine is about setting boundaries. It's about speaking your truth, even if it stings a little. So Lilith was the original and first wife of Adam in the Bible. And we don't hear a lot about Lilith in the Bible because it was written from a patriarchal viewpoint. So a lot of the feminine characters in the Bible were omitted because in a patriarchal system, they don't really want women to understand how powerful they are. Lilith was the first wife of Adam, and basically she would not submit to Adam. And because she wouldn't submit, she ended up flying away. And so Lilith represents this wild feminine. It's this yearning for freedom, the yearning of not needing to be controlled. So wherever you have Lilith in placement in your natal chart can represent where you refuse to submit to societal expectations. Lilith represents freedom and liberation. And Lilith is in a trine with Saturn. Saturn represents discipline, hard work. And so there may be just like this balancing act. And it's also in a trine with Jupiter. So it's this balancing act of being disciplined, but also being liberated and doing what you want. So there is a little bit of a balancing act of knowing your responsibilities and being willing to take care of your responsibilities, but also doing it in your own way. And I also want to bring up that Venus is in a trine to Pallas. Pallas Athena represents our strategy in a masculine world. So she's very much about vision and wisdom and strategy. And Venus is about beauty and love and relationships. So there may be an underlying theme here around maybe taking a different approach to your relationships. Maybe you need a different strategy. And now that you've healed some of your old relationship wounds, you are more open to exploring new ways of being in relationships. So here are some journal prompts that you can use to reflect on for this new moon. In which relationships do you feel an imbalance? Where are you giving more than you are receiving? Which relationship contracts are you ready to renegotiate? What truth in me wants to speak up, even if it doesn't feel easy? What relationship wounds, things like fear of rejection, abandonment, self-sacrificing, still echo in how you relate to others and how you show up in relationships? If I were to imagine the healthiest version of a partnership, what energy, values, and boundaries would it include? And lastly, what does harmony mean for me in this next season? So here are some affirmations you can use for this new moon. And if you want this in a PDF form, the journal prompts and the affirmations, I will have that link for you below. I open my heart to honest and balanced exchanges. I am worthy of a healthy relationship that reflects who I am. I speak my truth with grace and integrity. I claim healthy boundaries as part of love. So you can do a mirror ritual of saying these affirmations in the mirror, and speaking them out loud is going to activate a different part of your brain. I talk about this in my Rise and Shine course, The Power of Mirror Work. You can also do a relationship audit around this new moon of auditing all the relationships you're in and understanding where you're overgiving or maybe where you're not giving enough. and doing daily check-ins on a regular basis of where I'm not feeling balanced, where am I not giving enough to myself, or where am I over giving in my job. So happy new moon under this Libra new moon that is happening. I would love to know in the comments, if you're watching on YouTube, where are you feeling unbalanced and what are some new intentions you are setting with this new moon? And until next time, I have a check in next week where we will talk more about Scorpio season.